I forgot like what time it was and was totally eating pizza at 9:45 when I was supposed to start this live session. So just wanted to say so sorry for being late. Happy Thursday. Happy mid-month check-in. Um, what's been going on since our last live session? It's been quite a bit of things that have happened. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna see if I can promote this live now that I'm on here. And I don't know who's going to join because I'm super late. But that's okay because I still want to be able to do it, even if it's not, it's perfect timing and everything like that. I'm going to find a new phrase and not keep on saying life be lifing, but life definitely has been lifing for me. And not in the worst way, but there are some challenges going on. So, one being that when I returned from my trip, my car started having some issues. Honestly, y'all, I think my car was having issues before, but it wasn't to a point where my car wasn't working. Hey, Quana. And so when I got back from the trip, my car wouldn't start. And so when the car wouldn't start, my dad was able to give me a jump. We had left the car at his house while we were out of the country because I didn't book the parking spot, which is where we normally like to park the car when we travel through the airport. We didn't book it in time, and the holiday was really busy, and so the lot was full and we couldn't park there. So we just decided to park at my dad's house because my dad lives in Atlanta, and Uber from my dad's address to the international airport. And so my car would have been left there. Nobody drove it or anything like that. It just had been left there parked for the time that we were out. And when we got back, my car wouldn't start. But before that occurred, it was like my car had started making like a little sound when I would start the car. And I was like, that's weird. But, I didn't really think nothing of it. I didn't go, take it to the shop or nothing. I just kept using my car. And so, after we got back from the trip and the car wouldn't start, my dad jumped my car off and let it like get some juice for a couple minutes, and then the car powered back on. And so once that happened, I stopped kind of using the radio. I stopped using the chargers, limited use of AC, just so that I'm not using anything that causes power to drain. And I was able to drive it, and I was able to drive it to work, the next week. I kind of kept my driving to a minimum to like local near the house, but I didn't really have no problems with the car. So fast forward to going back to work, that Monday I drive my car to work, and on the way home from work, my car starts just fine, but the check engine light comes on while I'm driving it. So I panic and I take the car to this mechanic shop in our area that had fixed something for Dez a while back. And first red flag that I should have known, but is the guy tells me like they can diagnose the problem for me, but it's $130. If, of course, if we get it fixed with them, they'll take that 130 off the cost of the service. But long story short, I dropped the car off that Monday evening. They look at it Tuesday while I'm at work. And then they call me and I missed the call, so I called back. And the guy basically shares that the repair would be over $2,000 for my Nissan. And I was just like, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot more than what I was expecting you to say. So I will be back later to get my car because I'm not ready to proceed with that amount today. So when I got the car back, I asked him to give me a printout to kind of explain what was wrong. he was saying that he thinks it's the catalytic converter and that the parts would be like $2,000. The labor was like $250, but the parts was gonna be like $2,000. So I started asking around, and my dad called a shop that we go to a lot for our older cars, and they told him they could fix that problem for like 500 to 600. And then I asked another friend who has a similar car that I have. She said her catalytic converter had went out last year and it cost her 1,500 parts and labor. So basically, between that and just sharing it with some other folks, they're like, yeah, it sounds like that shop was trying to get over on you and charge you more than what you had to really spend. So my car was working when I got my car back, but he had said the battery is probably going to need to be replaced at a minimum. And so before I could replace the battery in my car, of course, it died again. So I don't know if I need a jump or if I'm gonna have to tow it and get a battery put in. But right now my car won't start, so I can't get it out the driveway. So I've been having a carpool with Des. So it's basically like having the reverse of what was going on before with my husband's car, except it's my car now. And so my husband got his truck and he's able to drive, but like I just feel like I don't want to prolong figuring out what I'm going to do, whether I choose to repair or get a new car. But my car is a Nissan and those depreciate pretty badly. And I would say my car is in fair condition, like because I have cosmetic damage to it. Other than that, it's a good car. You know, I've never had any expensive issues with the car. Regular maintenance fees like oil changes, brakes, rotors, my air went out like 2 years ago. I paid to get that fixed. Hi, Mary. So, I haven't really had any expensive things happen. No transmission issues, no engine issues, no oil leaks. Like, so for me to invest that kind of money into the car, I'm not necessarily against it, but paying over 2,000 for a repair, I would honestly tell y'all that my market value for my car, if I were to sell it, is not that amount that the man was trying to tell me to pay. And I paid the car off probably about 2 years ago at this point. So it's just crazy to me that, I paid because I financed this car. Hey Mo, how you doing? It's crazy to me that I financed this car for 4.5 years. Hey Keith, I'm good. How are you? I financed this car for 4.5 years. The walk out the door, like the tag on the car when I bought it off the lot was like $9,999. But with interest, I paid about 14 grand, maybe like a little under, maybe a little over, but about 14 grand because it's interest, right? And now, like 2 years after paying it off, paying over what it was really worth then, my car is not even worth about 3 grand. But to repair something on the car is basically worth the value of the car. And that's where I'm kind of torn because it's like I want to find somebody reputable to fix it and fix it for a fair price, which I believe would be between that 6 and 1,500, just based off people that I know who had a similar issue. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to have something else happen and something else happen and something else happen. And if I'm gonna spend like 2-3 thousand, I feel like I could put that into a newer car with less mileage, something that has more of what I currently need. Maybe it'd be the car that I was supposed to get that I didn't get. So that has kind of been my setback for June. And honestly, I just been trying to be very, cautious and not allow a temporary inconvenience to make me make a hasty decision because I don't want to basically make a choice that's going to affect me long term off of temporary inconvenience or emotions of, not wanting to share, not wanting to be inconvenienced, just wanting to be able to leave when I want to leave, do my own thing, not have to stay back at home because my husband might have something playing with his car. Like, it gets tough. And like, it hasn't even been long. My husband and I were dealing with this on and off with his last car all of last year and for some of this year. So I understand like what that was like. And, I just hope that I can figure it out My plan A, though, is to get my car fixed. I'm just not paying $2,000. Keith, I'm from Georgia. Where are you from? And then today, my husband got hurt. He was out there working with some guys for the baseball stuff. And he was helping one of the other coaches with their tryouts for the 12U. And one of the boys hit a ball and it hit him in the growing area, y'all. And that's the other thing, like, that is why I don't know what time it is. Because, like, when him and Saya left to do that, I was going to stay home and relax with the dogs because I was just tired. Like, today was a day where I led a service event and we went and did community service at a warehouse. So I was tired. When I got home, I was just like ready to relax, put my feet up. And so, like, Josiah and Des were going to go do baseball. I didn't even go to the gym because I was like, I've been on my feet for a lot of the day and I've not really had a chance to rest. I just want to rest. So I did get a chance to rest and relax for about an hour and a half before this situation happened. But you can imagine that was crazy, you know? And so, like, I just, it's been an interesting day. But anyway, y'all, I was supposed to be talking about goals and like all of that good stuff because it's a mid-month check-in. So I'm gonna just turn my calendar around so y'all can see how the fitness journey is going, and then I will talk about the goals that y'all see. So hold on, let me turn that around. And y'all don't need to know all that business, but here with the June. So the green, the big letters you see in green represent workouts. And as you can see, I've been going to the gym or doing some sort of workout. So far, it's just Thursday, but I've been doing my 2 to 3 times a week. I've also been working on drinking my water. So I feel better about the water goal, like drinking more water, trying to be more intentional about having that water. Let me see what else. I have not read my Bible outside of the days I go to church, but I did attend church on Sunday, last Sunday, and we do plan on going this Sunday, so that's going well. Let's see. I've been praying daily. Yes, I have. Daily. I have been reading with Josiah. That was one of my goals. It says 4 to 5 times a week. Josiah is very resistant, but we've been doing good. So far this week he's read 3 days. So, and then last week he read about 3 days. So we're working on it. The goal is 4 to 5 times a week or more. But if we can get it, 3 to 4, that's good too, because before he wasn't reading daily at all. Enjoy time off, including Nashville and weekends. We do go to Nashville next week, so I'm looking forward to that. I also have some extra time off. My goal, honestly, is still to enjoy my time in Nashville, but I would love, if possible, to have my car fixed by the time I get back from vacation, because I will be off from work for an extra day or two, and I could possibly use some of that extra time off to get a mechanic to fix this car. So that would make my vacation enjoyable, just because it'll get me back to my independence and being able to do what I need to do. And for weekends, this weekend is Josiah's birthday weekend. It's also my husband's Father's Day weekend. So I'm sure this weekend will be enjoyable. We do have a surprise plan for Josiah for Sunday after church. And then we might go and watch a game on Saturday or go to brunch on Saturday to celebrate Des. I'm trying to do something to celebrate them both, where they can both feel special on their special days. At the same time, it's always a challenge because Saya's birthday is always on Father's Day weekend, almost every year. I had a goal to upload all my Jamaica content and be consistent on shorts, and to do my 2 live streams. This is one of my live streams, so yay me. As far as the Jamaica content, my first Jamaica vlog will be dropping on Monday. So I have been editing. In fact, I spent a bit of my vacation time vlogging and editing footage from the trip, reviews from the trip. There's going to be at least 6 videos that come out about this trip. Room tours, reviews, vlogs. So I'm very excited. It will be content scheduled for the rest of the month. So that's great. I'm in the middle of editing the review, and it's going to take me some time because it was over an hour of footage. So it was so much to share, and I just want to make sure like whatever is in the video makes sense and is the most important information. But yes, I am making progress on that goal. And then I have a goal to prioritize rest, self-care, weekly time with the dogs, and like taking them outside. And I believe that like the rain has really made it hard for me to get my dogs outside every day. Other than of course taking them out to use the bathroom and stuff like that. So they have not been to the dog park this week or last week, but I did take Bruno on a walk earlier today, and I need to do something with Legend. I just haven't had the opportunity. And then like with the car situation, I was the one I'm usually taking them to the dog park as well. So I don't really talk about politics on my channel. So I'm not going to talk about anybody. I don't want to talk about that. But what I was about to say was my goal is to I don't talk about that kind of stuff here. Like, I'll say this, you have to be very careful about what you say publicly on your platforms, especially when you work full time for someone else. People can take things that you say in one place and replay it somewhere else, and it can cost you your job, even if you think very passionately about something. You know what I mean? So I don't really talk about that kind of stuff because it can backfire and affect my livelihood. So I have to think bigger than how I feel. That goes into like not making decisions to talk about things just based on emotions or, opinions. So I may have my opinion, but that's not one I'm going to share, if that makes sense. It's not that I agree or, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I agree or that I'm for anything. To give context, I haven't shopped at Walmart, Target, since the beginning of this year. So I have my point of view, but I just don't really go in the deep rabbit holes of politics on this platform because I don't have time. People like to pick and choose who they choose to I don't even want to say punish, but who they choose to reprimand or make an example out of for sharing their opinions, while others get to share all kinds of opinions, and it's just okay. We just supposed to deal with it. So, yeah. But I didn't want you to think I didn't see your comment. I saw it. I'm just not gonna address that person on here. But yeah, that was my goals for June. I know we still have quite a bit of June left, so there's definitely still time to make everything happen and you know, get through these struggles. Honestly, I don't know. I guess I just was expecting a car that I bought from the dealership, 2 years old, low mileage, to last forever. And I guess that was like wishful thinking. So I'm just trying to figure out what's best to do. So y'all wish me luck. And if you have any goals that you want to talk about that are going well, not going well, how's your mental health going? It's a lot going on in the world right now. Like, it can be a lot. So I encourage you to, take that mental health pause and, pay attention to what you're consuming. It's okay to be aware of what's going on in the world, but sometimes being too aware can be draining. It can make your mental health dwindle down. Paying attention to all the things. And it's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of changes in the world. There's a lot of bad things happening to people. And sometimes when you keep tuning into that, it can program your mind in such a way that it makes you forget that God is still in control. So definitely consider, how are you feeling in this moment? And are you programming yourself to step away when necessary so that you're not consuming things that are going to make your mental health suffer. Because sometimes being in the know about everything is not as good as you think it is. Like, honestly, sometimes I'm grateful when I'm oblivious to certain stuff because I don't want to be sad all the time, you know? And I think some people have gotten so used to seeing things on the internet that are traumatizing that it's become normalized. Like acts of violence and, you know, people being stripped of their basic human rights are things we've been seeing since 2020, right? And we get so used to seeing those that it doesn't even really faze you to see it. Whereas me, I'm a big empath, so like I don't want to see that kind of stuff. And even like people constantly talking about negative like things that are going on around the world, if I start seeing it over and over and over again, I'll step away from social media or I'll disengage with that type of social media so that it's not inundated in my feed because I don't care for it. Hey Patricia, how are you? God bless you too. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm like, Quana, is she still on here? She was the first person to join us and leave a comment. I was going to ask her how she's doing. That thing spiked up. It was 9 people on here. I was like, yay, 9 people. I was about to share this. Oh, you're still here, Quana? Okay. How are you? How's your June going so far? My name is Yosha. What's your name, or is that your real name on the screen? Is it really Patricia? I was multitasking and I forgot to put it on my community tab. So I just did it and I might not even be on here for more than like 10 or 15 more minutes. Oops. Hey, Nichelle or Nichelle. How you doing? One of my regulars. My join. Oh, your June has been okay. Nothing too spectacular. I understand. I'm feeling like mine hasn't been spectacular either because I've been dealing with car issues. Hi, Brian. Thanks, Patricia. I appreciate it. Jace is a really nice name. Oh my goodness. Congratulations. That's so exciting. With him starting school, was he dual enrolled during his senior year, or did he just decide to start with the summer semester? Hey, Toast Virtual Reality. Yeah, go ahead and say a prayer. I appreciate it. Or are you telling me I need to do a quick prayer? I don't know if I care to be famous, Patricia. I think having fame comes with a territory, and sometimes it's not always good, but you can make me a paid person on social media. That'll be fine. I'm just in need of new scenery. You think about moving, Quana? Or you just need to get away temporarily? When's the last time you went back home to see your people? A change of scenery will do it every time. Earlier this year, I started booking all these flights while they were cheap. And so I literally have change of sceneries planned throughout the whole summer. He decided to start school early. He's playing football, has to do weight training. So he said, okay, I love that. That's that dedication. Look, the best way for a student to start school is with eagerness. So if your child is eager and dedicated and will show that they was serious, I encourage that 100% because that means when they get there, they're gonna have the right mentality and be focused. So that's good. What's make me nervous is when you have a child that barely gets through school, high school, and then the parent want to force them out the house because they're 18 and make them go to college, and they basically have showed you since they was 14 that they don't want to be in school. But we so used to telling our kids that when they turn 18 they gotta go. We don't care what they do, they just gotta go. And then the kid ends up having to figure out that they don't want to be in school. They already know they didn't want to be in school, but they going to appease you because they don't want to be stuck, you know, living with you, having to work at the fast food joint because, you know how that goes. Because that's what a lot of parents do. They say, oh, well, you 18 now, you got to figure it out. You got to work. You got to do this and this. So I say that to say it's refreshing to hear that your child graduated and was excited and ready to go to school. Moving away from family here in Georgia. I was home in 2021. Aw. Well, I understand. And even if you move out of Georgia, of course, that would definitely be a change of scenery. But sometimes just also moving to a different area in Georgia. Like if you've been in the same city for a long time and then you move to a different city where you're not as close to those family members, that can help too. Like I grew up in Marietta, but I haven't lived in Marietta since I graduated from high school. And when I graduated from college, when I was in college, I lived in Clayton County because my school was in Clayton County, but then my dad and my stepmom also lived in Clayton County. I knew I didn't want to move to Clayton County, but when I was looking for my home, I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna look in Marietta. This is where I grew up. It's a good school system." Blah 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 blah. But it was rising costs at that time. It was really really competitive, like it is now. But it was really difficult for me because my income wasn't where it is today, so I couldn't afford to live out there. I don't think I could afford to live out there. And I didn't want to wait because I was getting married and I already had a child and it was already kind of uncomfortable sharing a room with this almost 3-year-old child. And so I ended up moving to another city that I didn't grow up in, still in Georgia, but it forced me to kind of learn independence and build my own way in connections. Not too far from my family, but far enough to where they're not over here all the time. A lot of them haven't been over here at all. My dad has, but like my stepmom has been to my house twice. I'm at their house way more, but like I don't invite people over here like that. But like my dad's been over several times, but like my other family, they ain't really been over here like that. And then like with Marietta, like I said, I'll visit for occasionally to link up with friends that I have that might still live there or in Cobb County. But like since I left that area, I don't really just be in that area. So I say that to say sometimes it's just a change of city. And that's a easier and more affordable change to make than moving to another state. But sometimes God calls you to move to another state. I have a friend who was born and raised here, and she left and went to Dallas, Texas, and she has been thriving since she left. But she did recently say that she might be considering moving back home. But the great thing is that she spent some years in another state and she really built herself up while out there. And so the person she left is not a person she coming back to being. So it really just depends on the person, the situation. Sometimes we need to leave a state. Sometimes we just need to leave a city. Sometimes we just need to cut people off that's draining us and bringing us down. It don't even be the surroundings. It's the people that's in your circle. The top 5 people closest to you. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know your story, but I'm just saying. Sometimes it can be the company you're keeping too. I definitely agree. And he has shocked me so much because he hated high school. But he said it's because there's too much control of time and schedule. And there is. There is. High school It's very structured. Public school is very structured. Someone said public schools are like institutions for people who are in jail. So I can understand why he felt that way. I'm a move of city girl. I love the hustle and bustle. Marietta is not me and was never me. More. I understand. You are more of a city girl. Yeah, I think I have some friends that I met recently through either work or the gym, kind of mix of both. I've been making new friends. And a few of them do live in the city and they love it. Like when I say the city, I mean the city of Atlanta. Like they live in Atlanta and they like living there instead. They like, I just like being in the city and there's always stuff going on and I'm close to the belt line and blah, blah, blah. Like, some people like that. And like, you don't get that living in Marietta or in the suburbs at all. Me personally, I was like, no, I don't want to live in the city. When I lived with my dad, I lived in the city and it was a lot. It was a lot. It was cool being close to the train station. It was cool having a short commute to work and everywhere, because living in Atlanta, it was in the center, so it's like everybody's house was within 30-35 minutes or less, which was super cool. That was a perk. But the hustle and bustle of Atlanta, and Atlanta was ghetto. It was ghetto. Like people would be walking, like you be driving down the street and the lights green for you to drive, excuse me, the pedestrians just start walking in front of the cars and don't care. I remember when I had my first car, I forgot how I broke my trunk, but I broke my trunk so it didn't close all the way. And so when my son was a baby, I was living with my dad and I went to the Wayfield grocery store in Atlanta near his house. And when I tell y'all I left the doggone stroller in the car and came back and some crackhead had took the base part of my son's stroller, I knew at that time, in that moment, that Atlanta would not be my forever home. And my dad and my stepmom have a very nice house in Atlanta, but the surrounding area is ghetto, you know? And I hate to say it, but it seems like anywhere where public transit runs, you're going to bring in homeless people. You're going to bring in people who are desperate. But like, I had no sympathy because I'm like, I am a single mom and you just took my stroller out of my trunk while I was in the store. And it was a nice stroller. It was one of them 3-in-1 strollers where you could put the car seat in the and click it. It also converted to be like a toddler size stroller. So the person took the part, excuse me, they took the third part that was like the converter piece that rolls, because it had a little small basket that you could put belongings in. So I know it was like a homeless person or a crackhead who took it, because they didn't take the other part. They just took the rolly part. But the 24/7 every day of things to do, and I'm never tired, always looking for things to do. New York is way different from Atlanta. It is. It is very different from Atlanta. I've never been. It's still on my bucket list. If I can find one of them wanna getaways and I can get there round trip for less than 150, I'm gonna make my way there one weekend. But Atlanta, you have to like know. I feel like you have to know people and places to get that city that never sleeps type vibe here. Otherwise, everything closes down at 3. And I'm not even a stay out late type person no more. I get tired. I'm tired now. Talking to y'all, it ain't even 11 o'clock. But I say that to say I hear that places like, oh, I'm sorry, I ain't mean to like yawn and be loud with it. Places like New York, New Orleans, Vegas, like those are like places that they don't close. There's something going on at all times. Atlanta is just one of them places where it's things to do, like festivals and art shows and open mic and comedy show. Like there's things like that is always going on in different places here. So yeah. I was supposed to go on June 10th for a business trip, but couldn't. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm really sorry to hear that your trip got canceled. I hope you can reschedule it. and have the experience that you were expecting to, or better. It is frustrating. I honestly was thinking, like, do I need to cancel my trip for next week? Because I'm on vacation for Juneteenth and I don't have to go back to work until the 23rd. And was legit like I don't know. I just want to be able to enjoy myself, right? But like right now, my brain is just like my car situation, bro. Like, what am I going to do? I'm not even in a vacation mood. And I'm like, I hate to be that way, but that's just kind of how I feel. And then I'm like, my husband has some upcoming travel in July for work. So it's like, if I don't get the car fixed this month and I don't get the car fixed next month before mid-July, I'm going to have to probably get a rental temporarily because he's going to be gone and I'm going to need to be able to get around and stuff. And I don't want to drive his car. It's a truck. I'm not used to driving a truck, so I don't want to drive the truck. And I know y'all probably like, what, girl, if you don't drive the truck? But it's like, I don't know. I'm just weird about it. Like, I don't want to. I don't have a lot of experience driving trucks or SUVs. Most of the cars I've had, excuse me, most of the cars I've had have been four-door sedans. Like, I've had Nissan Altima, Nissan Sentra, and I had a Toyota Paseo, which is a car that it doesn't exist anymore, but it's basically like a little two-door car. Think about like a Honda Civic Coupe, but in Toyota. It was like that. So my point is I've had a pattern of small cars. I don't think I've ever even rented a truck. I'm trying to remember. Like, yeah, when we did the rental last summer, I had a Camry, which was like my dream car. I was so excited about driving my little Camry for the weekend. It was so cool. But that's the other thing. Getting a rental is not cheap anymore. I remember when I was young, like before I was at age to where getting a rental wasn't with all these fees. Because when you're under 21, they really charge you a lot to rent a car. And nowadays, I don't know if you can even rent a car if you're not 21. Excuse me, but what I was going to say is I remember the days when you could rent a car for like $19 a day. And now I'm an adult and it's like $50 a day. And I'm like, that adds up. A weekly rental. I remember when I was in high school, I didn't rent cars or anything, but I had knew people that did. You could rent cars and it'd be like $125 for the week. Now you be dreaming to get a price like that. Can't because it was an album release thing and I missed it. Oh, dang. I get what you're saying. I hate that you had to miss that, especially because I know how passionate you are about, supporting an artist that you listen to and getting people familiar with them and things like that. But y'all, I'm getting sleepy and I'm finna go check on Des. He's in the living room relaxing. But I want to make sure I'm not on here too long if he's ready to come in here and lay down. But I wanted to just check in. I will be, back on the 26th. So that's the last Thursday of this month. And like I said earlier in the live stream, I will have some vlogs and some new videos dropping soon. In fact, starting like Monday. So just be on the lookout for those and watch my community tab and all that good stuff. And when y'all see the new videos, go ahead and make sure you watch them, even if you have to multitask, because they're going to be long. They're vlogs. I did listen to y'all who told me on the last session to break them up, like part 1, part 2. So part 1 is coming out on Monday. So be sure to check it out. Even if you have to like watch the first couple minutes, leave me a little comment so I know you was there, and then let it run while you wash dishes or sweep the floor or fold your laundry, because there are longer videos, but I do want y'all to watch them through because that helps people know that I'm posting my little travel stuff again. And I'm going to try to vlog when I go to Nashville and when I go to New Orleans, because I've really, really been wanting to go to NOLA. And I'm excited because the Nashville trip is a 24-hour trip. So we literally gonna be there Wednesday evening, and we're gonna be back in Atlanta by Thursday evening. It's a quick trip. But for the 4th of July, we have a full like 2 days. So I look forward to that vlog. I'm gonna try to vlog and just kind of share our experience, our tips and tricks. But it's like part of me is like, dang, I done booked all this travel and stuff, and now I got more things on my plate. So I'm just trying to, honestly, I'm gonna leave y'all with this. Somebody told me, thank you so much. I appreciate that, the goat curry. Someone told me this, and I agree, especially right now. They said, schedule your fun. Excuse me. It's okay. Hey. Someone says schedule your fun because pain and inconveniences are gonna schedule themselves. And I was just like, when I thought about that, I'm like, pain and inconveniences, like, what does that mean? But then I thought about how like the car is having issues, and it's like, if I wouldn't have scheduled these trips, I probably wouldn't even be doing nothing fun for myself, because I would just be like, well, I gotta be an adult and I have to be responsible right now, so I can't do anything fun. So it's like, yeah, regardless of what's going on, just schedule your fun. It might look like a trip. It might look like you going to a free event. But schedule some fun for yourself, some self-care for yourself, a good time for yourself as often as you can, because life is still going to life. You're still going to have inconveniences. You may still have stuff that challenges you. Find a way to, make it fun for yourself, even if you have that going on. And it don't always have to require spending money. Sometimes it could be like errand hanging. Do some stuff that you need to do, and do it with somebody that you enjoy being around and talking to. Go grocery shopping with your friend. Like, do FaceTime with your girlfriends. Sit around and watch one of your favorite TV shows, social media channels, and just binge. Listen to a podcast and relax. Put on some relaxing music. Like, regardless of what's going on, schedule that time for yourself, that self-care, that time to reset yourself, plan ahead. Exactly, another Brian. I really, really think, because life is going to inconvenience you. And if you don't ever plan that for yourself, something's always going to get in the way. And you're going to be like, well, I wanted to do this, but this came up. I wanted to do that, but that came up. And so now I'm so grateful that, like, in the early part of the spring, I was watching these flights and I got that $39 Nashville trip. And I caught this, like, $120 New Orleans trip on my birthday, because I didn't know my car was going to have issues. And so now it's like, you know what? It's like a silver lining. Like, yes, my car is having issues. I might have to get a new car. I might have to put some money down to fix this car. But guess what? I'm also going to be traveling this summer. And Jamaica, y'all, it was such a great experience. Like, I don't know. Did I talk about it? I did talk about it in the last session, so I'm not going to talk about that too much on this one. But like, I was so grateful that I took the leap of faith in planning that, and just like, going for it. Because if I would have just been like, well, last time it wasn't this and it wasn't that, I probably wouldn't have even went. So yeah. Have you went to New York? That's your favorite place? No, but my friend Kwana, who's on the live, is from New York. And it's on my bucket list because I've always wanted to go. And I guess that's Times Square. I've always wanted to see Times Square and look at the big pretty billboards and just see what's on them. I always watch these videos and see people dancing there in the middle of Times Square and doing TikToks and Reels and Instagram, YouTube short, all that. YouTube shorts. I wasn't finna cuss. I was gonna say YouTube shorts. And so I've always wanted to go there. And I wanted to get some real pizza and some real Chinese food and just walk around and ride the subway and all that good stuff. So it's on my bucket list. I feel like I need to do at least a weekend there so I can really, take it all in. So no, I have not been there. I've never been to New Orleans either. So y'all got to understand how excited I was on my birthday to see a cheap New Orleans flight for the summer. And it was perfect timing because it fell over the 4th of July holiday without me having to take off no additional vacation days. It was perfect. So I just feel like New York is going to be on my bucket list. I would love to go to New York while it's still warm. So I don't want to go when it starts to get snowy and cold. Although I have always thought about, like, what if I spent New Year's in New York? Because, they have the big event, and Mariah had performed a couple times. But I said this, I'm from Georgia, so like cold weather, I don't be knowing what to do. So I don't know if that would be smart for me to travel somewhere where it really snows. But if I could go to New York before it starts getting cold, that would be great. Hello. Thank you. That's so kind. I'm doing great. How are you doing? But yeah, I know I said I was getting off, but I don't know. Something told me to tell y'all that. Plan your fan. Yeah, I don't want to go in the winter, Quana. I want to go in the summer or the spring. So like, I've been keeping an eye on JetBlue and on Southwest. Southwest actually got a sale going on that ends tonight. I don't know if I'm booking nothing tonight. Right now, my spirit is saying, wait. I'm not telling you don't go on the trips you already paid for, but maybe you don't need to buy another trip because you got to fix your car first. But no, they have a sale right now though with the $49 one ways. The thing is though, it says it's including the summer travel, but then when I kept putting in every weekend in July, and I wasn't seeing no $49. So I was just like, why they be always saying $49, $39 getaways and you don't find nothing? Now, I will say earlier this year when they said the $39, I did get a $39 one ways to Nashville, which is why we're going, because I got it real cheap. But lately they've been doing 49, 59, whatever. I go look and they don't have nothing that cheap. Like, I want to go back to Texas because I feel like we didn't have enough time last time. But when we went to Texas, it was super cheap, like $60 one way and $60 the other way. And I did one on Southwest, one on Delta. Well, of course, now the flights are not that cheap. Instead of it being like 120 round trip, it's like 180 round trip or 250 round trip. And I'm like, no, I wanna pay the cheap price. You have to pay for bags on Southwest now? What about your carry-on bag? Is the carry-on bag still free? Because I'm flying Southwest next week to Nashville. And also, we flew. You know what? It might have been the old policy when we flew last time. But the last time we flew Southwest was this year. I think we flew. Did we go back to Nashville as a family? What did we do? We went to Nashville. I'm going to Nashville again. We went to Nashville in April, I think it was. And we flew Southwest, and the bags were free, but we had carry-on. So carry-ons, I don't plan on traveling with a check bag anyway, because we're not going to be there that long. But hopefully carry-ons are still free, because if Southwest is trying to compete with Delta and American, they don't charge you for the check bag. I mean, for the carry-on bags. Hi, YouTube Yum Yum, and then carry-on is still free. Okay, great. Because I was like, people were not happy with Southwest when they changed that policy, but I feel like they should have just said one check bag is free or something, because I feel like their bag policy was like the cool thing that made riding on Southwest like the reason. You know what I mean? And then I feel like also Southwest has changed their tiers, and now they've kind of copied the language that Delta uses about their basic flights for their want to get away. So now it says something like, this is our most restrictive flight. No cancellations allowed, no changes, no this, no that. And I don't remember them being that strict with the want to get away before. They used to do like the flight credit, which you can get the flight credit if you cancel, I think, but it's like 6 months, and it used to be a year, I thought. So I just feel like now they're being a little bit more rigid with some of their policies. So I wouldn't be surprised if people stop flying with Southwest. I personally am not going to stop flying with them. Like I said, if I keep catching these specials and getting the destinations that I want to go to, and it's, cheaper, I'm going to keep flying with Southwest. Like, I like Delta. We flew Delta to Jamaica, and it was great. I love being able to get there nonstop, and then the price was right. The thing with Delta is you just have to shop consistently. Whenever you look, just keep looking for the dates you want, and then you'll be surprised. Sometimes it'll go down. And then also, you have to be a planner. Somebody earlier on the live said you got to plan in advance. And I think it might have been Brian. I don't remember who said it, but You do. Like with the whole Jamaica thing, I didn't wait until like a week, or not a week, but I didn't wait until a month before to book that flight. Like I booked that flight months in advance and it was cheap. And I was looking at some other places. Yes, I'm married. I was looking at some other places and I couldn't get the price I wanted, but I'm also looking for like July and it's already like mid-June. So it's like the more in advance you look, the better the price is going to be when you think of premium airlines like Delta. Southwest, I feel like they are pretty low. Like if you're looking 4 or 5 weeks out, you can probably still get a low price. The only time they seem to get super expensive is when you look the week of or 2 weeks out. Then it's not going to be super cheap. But if Southwest keeps doing their deals and keeping their flights low priced, I think they'll be fine. Like the check bag thing is a perk. Don't get me wrong, especially when everybody else is charging $50 and $60 to check bags. But I don't like checking my bag anyway. I'm the person who gets mad when I have a carry-on and they make us check the bag because they've run out of seats or overhead bin space. Because I'm like, I have a carry-on. I want to put it up on the plane with me. But yeah, I would love to go, Kwana. And then I need to get your pointers. I know you told me what airport to fly into, but I also want to know, like, I guess, and he probably sent me this. I probably need to look at our messages again. But, like, where to stay. What hotels you recommend staying in? Because I know New York is not really a place, and I could be wrong, but I feel like New York and Chicago, they both like this, and I've not been to either one. But they're both places where folks rely on public transportation, and they don't do a lot of, like, driving. So I guess I want to know what's the best place to stay so that if I have to do public transportation or I guess Ubers or whatever, I can get around but not be super far from all the things that I want to do, like the Times Square and all that. You can take Syed to Hershey Chocolate World in Manhattan. Oh, he probably would love that. He's not a big candy, well, he's not a big chocolate person, but any sort of candy museum, I think he would love. He do like certain chocolate though, and he does like Hershey bars, but is it Hershey like Hershey bars? Like he probably would like the Hershey Kisses. He had a little stage where he liked those regular milk chocolate Hershey bars for a while. 42nd Street, Times Square. Okay, I'm gonna look it up. But I don't need to look it up today because I end up booking a trip. But I am going to look it up. But y'all pray for me about this car situation because I don't know. I got excited when I went to Jamaica and I came back and I had all this footage. Your girl started looking at Aruba. Like, I've been wanting to go to Aruba. So I was looking. I really don't. Like, if I did Aruba in July, that would be crazy. So, like, Jamaica in May, Aruba in July, Cancun in November. Like, your girl is living it up. But the price for the flight has to be right. And right now, the cheapest I saw the flight was about $550. And I've not been. I got to do some research, but I'm trying to understand because if they're like 2-3 hours behind, I don't want to go and only be able to go for like 3 days because that's going to be too short. I don't mind going to Mexico or Jamaica for that short time, 4 days, 3 days, because I've been to both of those before. So I don't have to spend as much time there. Like I'd go to Jamaica again, but the next time I go to Jamaica, I'm probably going to do 3 days because I've already been twice now. So I don't feel like I need 4 days anymore. But I feel like with Aruba, I kind of want to do a trip where I can have 5 days and 4 nights. That way I can really experience it and I don't lose so much of the time to travel because the flight is kind of long for Aruba coming from Atlanta. But if not, maybe I can try to go next year for my birthday trip. What time that is? Right now for me it's 11:09 p.m. So I'm about to actually get off and go to sleep. But I love y'all, and I thank y'all so much for coming and spending some of your evening or your day if you're in another country with me. Um, Times Square hotels are mainly where tourists stay, but I stay with family in Harlem neighborhood in Manhattan. But don't rent a car because there's no need. Okay, I won't. I won't rent a car. I don't really rent cars no more when I go travel. I think I did that one time. Well, when I went to Mississippi, I did it last year because my car was starting to get more miles on it. So I rented a car because we drove. But usually when I fly somewhere, I don't rent a car. I just rely on Ubers. So New York is different. I know, like, I be seeing people that say you just get on the train. You just get on the train to get everywhere, or to take the bus or whatever. But or walk. I be like, I know a few content creators that I made friends with who live out there, and they be walking too. Like, they walk a lot. Oh yeah, we just go up 4 blocks and do. Like, they walk. It's just a part of the culture out there. But yeah, I don't know. And then, like, I'm also thinking about, like, if I grow my family in the future, like, I'm gonna have to take a pause from traveling too. So right now, while I have not decided to grow my family, not to say I'm not going to, but right now, while it's just me and Saya and Dez and our dogs, I'm like taking advantage of all this ability to travel. Don't get scared to get on a train. So, Quan, let me ask you this before I get off, since you still on here with me. When the train, right? Is the train like equal to how the experience can be on the MARTA in Atlanta, or is it worse, or is it better? Like, hotels in Chicago Loop are convenient. Okay, I'm gonna keep that in mind because Chicago is on my list. After I heard Kev on stage, crew talking about how Chicago has the best food in the United States, I was like, I gotta go. I gotta try Chicago. My husband's been to Chicago too. He said the food is good. So I don't know, like, if I don't make it to Chicago or New York this year, maybe those are 2 states I put on my bucket list for next year. I'm just so tired of going to Orlando, Florida, that I got to try some different states. I also wouldn't mind going to Seattle, Washington either. And I've been wanting to go to Hawaii for forever. Hawaii is so expensive though. And y'all, the flight is like 6 hours from Atlanta, and all the Southwest flights require you to lay over. You have to lay over in California, Vegas, or Washington. There are no nonstop flights on Southwest to Hawaii, and Hawaii is the cheapest on Southwest because those flights be like $1,000. I'm waiting on Quanta to respond to that question though about the MARTA. When you said don't be afraid to take the train, is the train in New York worse or the same as MARTA in Atlanta? MARTA in Atlanta, it's some interesting individuals on the MARTA in Atlanta, but I'm not afraid to ride it. I'll be riding MARTA whenever I go to a concert because the MARTA is $6 round trip. So I can get on near my dad's house and ride down to State Farm or ride down to Mercedes-Benz to see a concert, see a game, and it's just cheaper. So $6, $60. Like, which one you gonna do? You gonna deal with the crazies for 10 minutes and mind your business and get to where you need to get to? I would be biased and say New York trains are better because I'm used to them. Okay. Your bias doesn't bother me. I just want to know if folks was crazy on there and you have to, like, avoid eye contact with certain people. But all right, y'all. Des just walked in here, and I do not want to be, like, noisy if he's finna sit here and try to go to sleep. But also, I'm getting sleepy, too. I got, like, excited talking to y'all, and I was like, I'm sleepy. New York subways are way busier than MARTA. It's safe with all the people, in my honest opinion. Okay. Well, if I live through MARTA, I think I could do New York subway. And when I go, I'm going to just try to go with, I'm probably try to go with, like, Dez, or like Quantum mentioned, maybe we could plan and end up going together. Like, go with people. I won't go by myself because it's a bit of solo moving around as far as this public transportation. It would be cool to go with somebody who's from there because you'd be like, oh, yeah, this is what you do. You go over here, We could rent an Airbnb in Jersey and just ride a Jersey transit and explore. Oh, okay. I've never been to Jersey either. Neither one. I know they're right next to each other, though. Okay. Well, I hope the rest of y'all's month goes well. I'll be back on live in the end of June so we can talk about it. And I pray that everybody, no matter what you're going through, it gets better. You just keep remembering, like, this too shall pass. I have to tell myself that this too shall pass. It's just a temporary convenience. It's just a minor setback. It's just a temporary phase. It's going to get better. Ooh, Jersey Shore, like the TV show. You're getting me excited. Okay, y'all. I'm finna get off. I am really sleepy, but thank y'all for being one of the highlights in my day. And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.